waiting for that. No, things are pretty bad. It's getting pretty Soviet out there, Lars, and for your listeners, I think things are going to get bad. If you don't already have a gun, I think you should get one. I think we're going into a very bad period. And what happened, I'll skip the column for a moment, although that is about part of the Soviet renaming and the attack on the Confederate monuments. But I got to say, I've been in a state of shock since seeing the Atlanta DA announced that the cop is going to be charged with felony murder and punishable by life in prison without parole or the death penalty.
Yep.
We've seen the video, and I will also say, I wasn't where the DA is, but I was commenting to my friends that I actually thought this one might be a little bit tougher than the Wendy's parking lot one would be a tougher one than what happened in Minneapolis, because I think the Minneapolis one, well, we'll see what happens at trial. Unlike others, don't like to leap to conclusions, but we still haven't seen that body video, the body cam video, which is making me increasingly suspicious. In any event, I mean, it is true, and my only point was, of course, once the guy starts fighting, running, grabbing a taser, shooting the taser at the cops, of course they were under threat and had grounds to shoot at that point. It was earlier in the interaction, and I've said to some of my friends, well, come on, why couldn't they just say, they didn't technically catch him driving drunk. They can't leave a drunk guy in a car. I understand that. He could drive off, smash into a family, kill lots of people, and then the cops would be responsible for not having done anything. But he said to the cops, I'll just walk to my sister's house. How about that? And I mean, I can imagine an earlier time when cops would have said, okay, we're taking your keys, pick them up at the police station tomorrow. I believe it was Mothers Against Drunk Driving that came down kind of hard on stuff like that. In any event, it's easy to say something like that in hindsight. This is just absolutely sickening that this DA is going to charge the cop with felony murder when we have seen the tape and seen that the perp did fight with the cops aggressively and fire a taser at him. This is terrifying. This just tells you, I mean, the one piece of good news I had after being in shock for 2 hours, and I stand and salute them. Atlanta police are not responding to calls. They're walking.
There are at least two
or
three districts that have been vacated by the cops at this point.
God bless them. I mean, that is what we are coming to now, and that's why I say get a gun, because of what's going on right now, with no one other than people who aren't elected officials fighting back against it. The crime rate is about to go through the roof. And I'm sorry to say that the people who are going to suffer most are going to be when their stores got destroyed, crying about, I mean, it breaks your heart, but what? I want to keep talking about Russia and interviews with, why didn't the FBI tape its interview with Michael Flynn? Our country is burning. We have Stalinists taking over, Antifa running wild in the street, and these Republicans just want to keep talking about Russia. Fantastic. At the end of 4 years of
But Ann, let me ask you, I read the column. It's a great column. It's well worth reading. I don't like to steal from your column just to put in the show, although when you're not here, sometimes I do that. But no, I do it. But I always give lavish credit to the authors, so that's the save. But you're right about America being on fire. I've been aghast that they haven't done anything about this, and I've been beating up on as many public officials who are in a position to do something about it. But is it not a good strategy for the Republicans to say, okay, you want reforms? Here's some sensible reforms. We invite the Democrats to come to the table. In the meantime, the president says, fix yours.
That he did this. It's absolutely outrageous, and
Why?
because what America, you think that lady's crying about her dollar store? You know what, you think she's worried about, ooh, the police are too aggressive? No, I think now the vast majority of Americans think crime is a bigger problem than policing. This is what I mean about Republicans being, we'll do the exact same thing, except not quite as crazy. We're going to be Democrats
except for this.
You guys, Hillary, after the shooting of 5 cops in Dallas, Hillary went on Wolf Blitzer and said, what we need is a national commission on policing. Well, I'm sorry, Lars, but so far I haven't seen any evidence that policing is out of control.
Well, and I'll tell you what,
Chauvin still deserves a trial. You're still innocent until proved guilty. As soon as I see that, then it will be fascinating. But right now, I'd like a national commission on how to stop Antifa, on how to stop this racial demagoguing that destroys lives, about arson running wild in our streets, about innocent people walking onto the street and getting the crap beaten out of them. Oh no, we're going to have a commission on policing.
All I'm saying, Ann, is that you know how this game gets played. If the president pays full attention to the cities on fire and no attention to the demands for reform, then they say, you see, he's ignoring the problem. Can he do more? I mean, the Democrats can only do one thing at a time. If he does both of them, then what's wrong with that?
It's like you've entered Jared Kushner's mind, because the important thing for Trump to keep in mind is, what will the media say? I don't want to upset the media, and that's everything he does. No, I think the voters, you want to appeal to Hispanics. You think they're happy getting beaten up right now? You think the Koreans are happy about getting beaten up? And no, we can't control the media. Whatever Trump does, he's going to be attacked. Do the right thing. Protect this country. He should have sent in the National Guard after that police station was burnt down in Minneapolis. I was watching that crying on my TV, or watching this on TV, where the United States of America and a police station was abandoned.
And allowed to be taken over. And by the way, in Seattle, they did worse than that. First of all, Jenny Durkan, the mayor, starts talking about how, well, this is going to be the summer of love, and it's all happiness, and everybody's smoking weed. And then the city, you may not have noticed this, the city of Seattle literally said, by the way, those barricades you have put up, they're kind of ratty looking. We'll put up some good ones for you. And they literally helped them erect the wall that was erected illicitly by an armed mob that took over. Now, you know, if it was conservative armed mob, they'd have been all over them in a second. But instead, they say, why, you don't have good barriers. Why don't we put some up for you? I'm as angry about that as you are. But I think the president should have followed through on his threat, saying, if the cities don't straighten it out, I will come and straighten it out for you. And he should have invoked Little Rock. He should have said, when Little Rock, Arkansas said little brown and black kids can't go to school, and the state wasn't going to go along with it, when the president said that I'm sending the troops in and we'll straighten out your hash right now, that was the right thing to do. And the president could do it. I just, as you suggest, he seems to... on some things like walls.
And not much doing, and I do not think he will be rewarded for this. But that's the Jared plan. Oh, they'll love you, the silent majority. Well, the silent majority is seeing that he's not doing anything. I mean, it's one thing to run on law and order when you're not the incumbent. When the country burnt down and crime went through the roof, and it has and it will, under your administration, tweeting out law and order isn't going to do it.
Absolutely. Ann Coulter's column is a must-read at anncoulter.com.
We will make America great again.